I Confess is a 1953 Alfred Hitchcock film starring, for the first time in podcast history, Montgomery Clift. And it was banned in Ireland, and we're covering it today on the Golden Hour Film Podcast. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Golden Hour Film Podcast. My name is Harry Bailey, joined by my co-host, not guest host, Shane Mulvaney. Shane, how are you?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting into the confessional box and pouring out my hearts as to whether I enjoyed this movie or not.
Yeah, banned in Ireland. Haven't said that in a while. Shane, why was this banned in Ireland, if you were to hazard a guess?
I'd say because there's a possibility that a priest may have committed a murder, and the Catholic Church, who had a stranglehold on the country, didn't really like that idea too much. They didn't really like depicting obviously priests in such a manner.
Worse, it was banned because it depicted a priest kissing a woman.
Oh, for God's sake! For God's sake, man!
Go on, the lads. Go on, the lads.
I'm so sorry, everyone.
Ireland, just Ireland, typical Ireland, not the murder plot. Kissed a woman.
Yeah.
Kissed a woman.
Potentially they could be more.
Even though he wasn't a priest at the time in the film, this film was banned in Ireland because it was alluded to that the priest had some sort of a relationship with a woman and then they share an on-screen kiss. Ban it now. Can't be having that in Ireland. None of that. Notions.
Down with this sort of thing.
Yeah, this film set in Quebec, Canada, a country that doesn't appear on the podcast very often, I feel. Hitchcock, not entirely happy with it. Safe to say. I had never seen this before. Before we get into our spoiler-free review, I'll just say if you could like this video on YouTube, that would be amazing. We are pushing for 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. And although we are recording this in advance, I would assume that we are within touching distance. Mm-hmm. So yes, 1,000 subscribers on YouTube will be amazing. And as always, hello to the listeners listening on all of the various audio platforms that we are on. But yeah, time for a spoiler-free review. And in my spoiler-free thoughts, this is my first time seeing this film. It's grand, like.
Pretty much.
Yeah, it's a Hitchcock film. It's a wrong man film. It has a great hook.
Yeah.
Which is a man comes into a confessional booth, confesses to a murder, and then pins the murder on the priest. And the priest can't do anything about it because he is bound to the vows he took when he became a priest. So he has to try and navigate his freedom despite all arrows pointing to him being guilty of a crime we know he didn't commit. And we see in the opening scene, like, we know that he didn't commit this. As the audience, we know that there isn't to pardon the pun, there isn't a shadow of a doubt. We know that he's innocent. But unfortunately, this film, although it has a great cast, I don't feel like anyone's great in it. I think everyone's kind of in second gear, and they occasionally go into third gear. Montgomery Clift's podcast debut is grand. I know Hitchcock wasn't a big fan working with him. Bit of a method actor, shall we say, which is very not Hitchcock, very not old school at all. I love that quote. I don't remember what it was in reference to, where you said that Laurence Olivier had said, my dear boy, why don't you just try acting?
Marathon Man with Dustin Hoffman and Laurence Olivier.
Yeah, that's it. I feel like that was like the consensus of like that generation versus this sort of, I know he passed away young, but this like late 50s, early 60s crop of young actors and their methods. But yeah, he's good in it. It's not his best performance I've seen. He plays the titular. I don't know why I said titular there. He plays the main protagonist, the priest. We've got Carl Malden, a podcast regular who gave us great performances in On the Waterfront and a real layered performance in A Streetcar Named Desire. Again, he's kind of one note in this.
Yeah.
The only thing I kind of like about his character is how committed he is to pinning this on the priest. He is so set on it being the priest, which obviously as a narrative is essential, because if he wasn't dead set on it being a priest, wouldn't have a film, lads, would we? But yeah, that's my only kind of thing that I took away from the film with his character, was I rated Karl Malden's performance in that he really sells the, like, this is my villain. I will catch him. I will figure out how he's guilty, rather than, presuming innocent until guilty. He presumes this man's guilty from the get-go, and then kind of runs with that narrative. We've also got Anne Baxter, very, very famous actress. It's hardly her podcast debut, is it?
I believe it is, believe it or not. Yeah.
Is it? That's
I
mad.
think
'Cause
so,
I feel like
think
she's
so,
I feel like she's in everything.
Just double checking, but I think it is. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely her podcast debut, alright, yeah.
That is mad. Yeah,
Yeah.
because All About Eve, Magnificent Ambersons, Ten Commandments, we haven't covered any of them.
Yeah.
Five Graves of Cairo. Yeah, fair enough. Anne Baxter's in it. Again, she's good, but, like, not amazing. This really is a lower mid tier Hitchcock film for me, but there's still an enjoyment to be had with those lower mid tier Hitchcock films. I probably will rewatch this again, just because I enjoy Hitchcock films, and as formulaic as this one feels, I do enjoy that formula. So if I ever wanted to switch my brain off and just stick a Hitchcock film on, I might stick on I Confess. What about you, Shane?
Yeah, I had seen this before. I enjoyed it on the first watch. It's definitely like mid-tier Hitchcock. Was my thinking at the time, was my belief at the time, but I did enjoy it. I know I had seen people kind of bump up against the Montgomery Clift's performance, because in part they knew that there was a tension and a friction between them. I'd say. To me, it didn't stand out that much in the first viewing. I thought he was fine. I thought he was decent, a good performance. I have to say, I did kind of notice it more in the second viewing. I think he's kind of unenergetic, and he looks like he's kind of moping about the place almost. Like, it's a bit weird. Like, there's just not much to hook onto with his performance. I think he gets really good at the end when shit starts to hit the fan, and he's good at the start. But there's a big massive chunk in the middle where, and I know they didn't necessarily shoot in order for that, by the way, but like, it's most of the movie, obviously, kind of a big massive chunk in the middle where he just kind of isn't really doing that much to kind of make you want to root for this guy. Like, yeah, we know he didn't do it. We know he's in a bad position, but, like, I don't know, Cliff doesn't really have the kind of energy that I'd want from a guy who is look, first and foremost, yeah, he's a priest, but first and foremost, he has to try and clear his name of murder. Yes, it's a bad situation he's in, and it's not exactly easy, and he can't point the finger at this Otto Keller guy and say, well, he told me. Yeah, I don't know, his performance on the second viewing, and he's not alone. I agree with you that no one really is amazing. I think everyone's fine.
No.
But I do think Clift as the lead in the movie, Hitchcock leads in general are, when a movie works, a massive part of the movie is because, think of Jimmy Stewart, think of Cary Grant, think of Farley Granger last week, and in Rope.
Anthony Perkins.
Yeah, Anthony Perkins, exactly. So, like, Hitchcock leads in general tend to be a big reason. Ingrid Bergman. Be a different movie with Ingmar Bergman in the lead. Ingrid Bergman in the lead. Like, his leads tend to be a big reason why the movies work. Yeah, for me, I did kind of understand that and notice it more in the second viewing what people meant by that, which is a slight shame. And Baxter, I think she's fine for what she is, but this felt like, because she'd obviously done a few big movies like All About Eve, where she, I think, won an Oscar for that, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right.
This felt to me like, right, we want to get Anne Baxter in the movie, but we're gonna need to, like, give her a role, a kind of a meaty role, and she just has a big massive monologue in the middle where she's narrating, recounting the relationship she has with the priest. It felt like that was kind of shoehorned in. Maybe shoehorned in isn't exactly the word, but it felt like if that wasn't in there, there's no way of getting Anne Baxter to do this movie because she doesn't have anything else really to do.
Yeah, she actually didn't win for All About Eve. She got nominated,
Okay.
but she won Best Supporting Actress for Razor's Edge.
Okay, there we go. Yeah. Because obviously All About Eve was like a massive, one of the biggest hits in Oscar history, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, obviously her stock would have been very, very high at the time, and yeah, she's fine. She's fine at what she is in the performance, but again, Carl Malden, same. They just don't really massively stand out. I've definitely seen a bunch of movies from all of those three actors where they're a lot better than they are in this. And then there's also just one last little kind of criticism is it didn't strike me as much on a first viewing, but there's there's a big, fairly elongated courtroom scene which is just quite boring. It's not shot particularly well.
Hitchcock wasn't great at courtroom scenes, was he?
Parodying case similar, like I don't know, like yeah, it didn't strike me, but it goes on, and it's a bit boring, and you know he's going to go down, and spoiler alert, you know he's going to go down. Sorry, this is the spoiler free section. You know he's going to go down, and yeah, I don't know, it goes on too long, and there's not really much to like see again, like throw your hat onto and sink your teeth into, and yeah, I don't know. The movie itself, like you said, it's for a lot of directors, this would be just a fine movie. Like it's a watchable movie. It's not terrible, but for Hitchcock, it's definitely a bit of a disappointment. And obviously he thought the same as well. I think he even referred to this as like one of his biggest disappointments because it's a brilliant hook. I mean, it's an insanely great hook. This priest who cannot reveal who the real killer is, even though he knows why, because obviously he's bound by his vows. Oh my god, like that's sign me up, give me 5 tickets. But yeah, it just feels like a bit of a lost opportunity. And yeah, sorry, I've essentially reviewed the whole movie there. Sorry, but I just kind of wanted to get it off my chest because it's a real shame. Like we'll talk more about it in a second, obviously. But yeah, it is a shame because generally speaking, Hitchcock movies only tend to grow on me on a second viewing, and it's a shame this wasn't the case on this one.
And now it's time for that portion of the podcast where I ask you, Shane, I know we've already talked about the hook, but what is this all about? I confess, what is this all about?
So this follows Father Logan, who's played by Montgomery Clift, and at the start of the movie we see a figure walking down the street having clearly just done something really bad. And he's walking down the street, obviously silhouettes, shadows, all the good Hitchcock stuff influenced by German Expressionism. And he walks into a church, and Father Logan sees this individual walking into this church, so he goes down and just wants to see what this person wants. It's a guy called Otto Keller. He's a German who has come over from the war, in the Second World War, obviously. And he's found a bit of a refuge, him and his wife, in this town, and they've been treated quite well by Father Logan and this church, and obviously they're very happy that they can kind of contribute to society and move on, and try and like obviously embrace the American way. But yeah, Otto says he murdered a man named Valette. He said he didn't mean to, but it just happened. It wasn't thought out, it wasn't premeditated and stuff, but he has murdered him. And yeah, he doesn't really know what to do, and so he says he can't give himself up because his wife relies on the money and stuff. So Father Logan doesn't really know what to do with this information. He obviously can't divulge it to the police even if he wanted to because of those vows, but he also wants to help Otto Keller through this obviously difficult situation as best he can. And yeah, the next morning they find Valette's body. There's a big commotion outside his house. Father Logan strolls down, and wouldn't you know it, Otto Keller is there, and pretty amusing faces he pulls throughout this film as he thinks that Father Logan is working with the police. He obviously thinks that that Logan is, like I said, working with the police, and he's not too happy about it whatsoever, because Keller is the groundskeeper of Valet, and yeah, Valet is a lawyer. He essentially works for Valet as well as he goes to church in Logan's church. But yeah, it soon becomes clear that Father Logan is going to be suspect number one, because he said that he had an appointment with Valet this morning, and obviously it didn't really ever happen. And so the police are like, well, maybe it did happen, and maybe, yeah, maybe you killed him in that meeting. And he soon is not able to provide an alibi for that night. And yeah, he's on all kinds of bother because all the evidence is pointing to him. And even when Detective LaRue, played by Carl Malden, even every time he gives an opportunity to say, listen, I really want to help you here, but you're not giving me anything to work off of, and he still can't, obviously because of his vows, he still can't say, it wasn't me, he literally told me he did it.
Yeah. Worth noting, this film kind of has like two main songs in its score, and both of them are great. One of them is like a real slowed down version of the song that plays when Obi-Wan and Anakin fight on Mustafar in Revenge of the Sith. I don't know what that's called, but as soon as I heard it, I recognized it. But yeah, worth noting that the music in this is good. It's actually very good. It's just used quite sparingly, but it's actually very good.
Yeah.
And we hear quite a bit of the opening. But yeah, the detective played by Carl Malden, when he gets to the scene as well, he looks out the window of the sitting room where the body is, and he sees Logan outside with a woman named Ruth, played by Anne Baxter, and she says to him, "We're free," and then they walk away. That's kind of suspicious. So yeah, you can't really blame LaRue for instantly picking up on that, asking the guy, "Are you guilty?" The guy not giving him any assistance, and then him being like, "Okay, this is all a bit much. I'm gonna have to pursue this further." But yeah, LaRue really pursues Logan for the rest of the film, and as you said, the kind of middle period of the film, Logan needs to clear his name, but instead he does just kind of sit there and let other people speak for him. And when he does speak, he's fine. But when he's not speaking, he does look like he's like sulking. It's
That's
it's hard to
exactly
pick.
yeah.
It's hard to. There's no like Jimmy Stewart like fight in this character
totally
to free his name.
Yeah.
It's more like a, God, this is rather unfortunate.
Yeah, it's like, this is a bit, like,
yeah, and that's
what can I do
hard to
here?
root for.
Yeah, it is.
Also, two kids say that they saw a priest walking the streets that night, and as a result, LaRue then goes around questioning all the priests as to where their whereabouts were. And again, as you said, he questions Logan, and Logan doesn't have a good enough answer.
Yeah. And then we learn that Logan was with a woman played by Anne Baxter.
Cheeky.
Yeah, a woman named obviously Ruth, and he kind of interrogates Ruth, and Ruth.
She's married, by the way.
Yeah, Ruth is married. And Ruth kind of gives him an alibi, but it turns out that it's still possible that Logan could have committed this murder. She says she was home just after 11.
Yeah, there's like a 30-minute window there, I think.
Yeah, and it turns out the murder was committed around 11:30, so Logan still could have had time to go and do the murder and then go back to the church.
Yeah.
So she was trying to help him by saying, listen, like, I was with the priest, even though she knows there's going to be like whispers said about the two of them, but she was trying to do the right thing and help her kind of old friend out and her potential love interest. But she's only gone and dug him even further in the dirt, dug an even bigger hole for him. And so she says, listen, she kind of recounts this whole long backstory of that they were kind of together when they were younger, and then he went off to the war.
To fight in the war.
To fight in the war. Then when he came back, she had already gotten married, and then one day, when he was back, the two of them kind of hung out, and one day it started torrential raining, and when Valette lived in this house, and when he came outside, he noticed there was, it was the priest, and it was Ruth, and so he essentially started blackmailing him for a number of months, if not years, and yeah, it's quite a long-winded monologue. I think it could have been condensed if they'd feel a bit like, right, we need to give Anne Baxter something to do here, so we're going to
For a
drag.
man who is so show don't tell,
Yeah,
this is very
it's
tell.
very tell. Yeah, exactly. It definitely could have been condensed, this monologue. Yeah, it didn't need it to go on for as long as it did. Quite boring, and also like I said, it just felt like a reason for Anne Baxter to do the movie. It wouldn't be surprised if like her Asian
Yeah.
was like, "I'll do a movie, but you're gonna have to give me something a bit extra to work with here." And so they were like, "Right, let's add another couple of pages of dialogue in that monologue there." Yeah, didn't really need to be as long as it did, but anyway, essentially the story is Vallette was blackmailing them, and that's again another motive um, for poor Father Logan. And so all this evidence is stacked up. He doesn't have a good enough alibi. He hasn't even denied that he did it. Well, he has denied, but he certainly hasn't pointed any fingers. And yeah, he has been charged. Then we go from quite a long-winded monologue from Ruth to a very long-winded courtroom scene where nothing much happens. Keller testifies. One bit I like about the movie was Keller just subtly sticking the knife in the hole. Just the kind of dastardly villain, isn't he? Like he just
Yeah, it was definitely the best part of the
yeah
film is him
over the
showing
top.
up at different scenes and kind of going, hey, and then walking away.
like
Like
he's
over and over again. That was definitely the best part of the film.
just a dastardly villain. He's just sticking the knife in every chance he gets. He gets up on the stand, even though his wife is clearly very angry and uncomfortable in doing what he's doing because she does know that her husband has done this. So he's lying to frame Logan. Ruth again on the stand tries to stick up for him, but she only digs an even bigger hole. Digs an even bigger hole again, and then Logan gives his version of events, but he still can't reveal Keller's actions because of obviously the vow, and so you have all this. Again, it goes on for a long time. You know, eventually, like the way Hitchcock is shooting it, it's just basically evidence stacked on top of evidence, stacked on top of evidence.
Yeah.
There's no smoking gun where you can say, right, aha, that's my get out here. So you know he's going to go down for this, and he has been found guilty, or has he? Because he hasn't. So eventually the jury are like, yeah, we think you did this, but we don't have enough evidence, and so not guilty. And so
Wet fart. Absolute fucking wet fart of a courtroom scene.
it is
Like,
like
it's just like,
it is. It's like
I'd say Carl Malden's character, like in canon, could like legitimately just go home and just hand his badge in.
yeah,
He's like,
basically.
I'm done. I'm done. Like, this is stupid. This is fucking stupid.
I also think the judge is very boring. He delivers his lines in such a monotone way. To me, like the whole because essentially, or sorry, especially because of what happens immediately after this courtroom scene, you didn't need to have him be not guilty. You could have really stuck the knife in, had him be guilty, and then everything
Yeah.
that played out could have still happened. You could have figured out another way with the writing. You could have figured out another way for what happens after to actually happen. But it did feel like a bit of a cop out, right? We can't have a priest go down for murder. Like it's the Hayes Code and stuff. You can't do that. So it felt like just a bit of a cop out, really. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And then, as you said, I would argue that the ending would, and it's actually a good ending.
It is. It's a very good
The ending would have been far more impactful had he been found guilty.
Yeah.
Because he comes out, and again, Keller, who's a bit like that monkey from South Park, is just kind of pointing and like, eh. And Keller's wife, Alma, it's kind of eating her up because she's also known the entire film that he's guilty. And she sees like this crowd just abuse the priest and then like throw him up against a car and like start getting physical with him. And then she steps in and she's like, enough. And then she tries to say that it was her husband who committed the murder. When Keller pulls out a gun, bang, crowd disperses, she's on the floor. The priest and the cop come over to the woman on the ground and she dies in the cop's arms, and he tries to get her to like say, what was it you were gonna say, but instead all she says is forgive me, obviously to, it could be implied it was to God as well, I guess, but
Yeah.
to the priest, and then she dies. But they know full well that obviously she's just been shot, sorry, by a man in the crowd. Keller is darting it towards his hotel, so everyone starts legging it after Keller. We get quite high up in this hotel, and then we get a bit of a standoff where Keller and his gun is in like this big sort of like concert hall room, this empty concert hall room at the stage. And yeah, this is definitely the best of what to call him, Robert Montgomery again. Montgomery Clift's acting. This is definitely the best of his acting in this
Yeah.
film. He like begs with LaRue to let him go in and try and like talk him off the ledge, talk him into doing something stupid, and he goes in, and yeah, Keller doesn't quite bite.
Keller essentially reveals the whole plot because he believes again still that Father Logan is working with the police, and so he says, "Oh, like you finally told them that that I told you in confession. That was why you couldn't tell me." Essentially revealing the whole reason why. So he's essentially, while he's confessing, he's also giving Logan, like he's also revealing why Father Logan couldn't say it in the first place. So obviously you see
Yep.
LaRue realizing then that, like, oh shit, I got this all wrong. It's like that was a pretty good reaction shot from Carl Malden. And then Father Logan goes over and he finds out, even though he's armed, he's like, listen, I'm going in, and tells him, listen, Alma's died, and still he kind of all blames him, and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he finds out Alma died. He's distraught and he blames him, but yeah, he dies, and essentially that's the movie. Like, it's a good ending, and then it is a slightly abrupt at the very end. But yeah, that's the movie. That's I confess.
Yeah, they shoot Keller. He asks for his forgiveness. He at the end of his like, yeah, the cops shoot Keller because he pulls the gun, and after this big rambling evil monologue where he explains the film, he asks the priest for forgiveness. You can't have it both ways,
Yeah,
man. Like, we just have to listen to your evil monologue. Die a villain.
yeah.
You can't have it both ways.
He wants to
That
get out there,
also,
I
I was
suppose.
kind of like, come on, you're just selfish now, Keller. You're selfish. But yeah, as you said, that's it. That's the ending of I Confess.
Yeah, I gave this 2.5 stars. I had gone three on
Mm-hmm.
the first watch, but I have
Yeah,
downgraded it slightly. Like I said, it's not terrible. It's definitely worth a watch if you're a Hitchcock completionist. But yeah, I think that it's definitely on the lower end of Hitchcock's mid-tier efforts. Like, it's not terrible. It's not.
yeah.
It's not parodying Case, and it's not Under Capricorn.
No,
But
no.
it's not great either.
Yeah, more or less the same. 2.5 stars. There's good in there.
Yeah,
It's got a good ending. Montgomery Clift packs all of his acting into the last act. He's not really there for the first two. It's got an amazing hook.
yeah,
It's got some good music. But besides that, courtroom is so boring. Second act is pretty boring. It just feels like it's missing a lot. And I know that Hitchcock said that this was censored to death, so maybe that's partially why. But I am, yeah, I would agree that it's like lower mid Hitchcock, but like lower mid.
yeah.
Like, I would not have this probably in his top 30. And like, once I kind of get all those 20s to early 30s ones out of the way, it might not even be in my top 40. I don't know. But like, it's fine. It has its positives, but ultimately, and it is kind of my biggest gripe with the movie, is that there are big portions of this movie that are boring. So like, I'm not gonna. Yeah, the hook is so good though. Like, the hook is savage. Such missed potential.
Yeah.
Still serviceable, but could be incredible with a hook like that. Shane, I reckon we've time for a couple of rounds of guess the movie. What you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Should do. Should be able to get at least one or two
Cool.
rounds in.
So it is 9-8 to Shane. Right, I have one for Shane. If you want to look away. Oh, if it'll focus. There we go. Right, go for it.
Okay, have I seen this movie?
You have.
Have you seen this movie?
I have not.
Is this a movie from the 40s or 50s?
It is.
Is this a movie from the 40s?
It is.
40s that only I've seen. Let me have a look. Is this a film noir?
It is.
Okay. Has this been directed by a director we've covered on the podcast before?
No.
Oh,
It is not.
I was thinking they lit.
One more question.
I was thinking They Lit by Night because you mentioned it earlier. Fuck.
The Goat Farley.
Okay. You've seen Brighton Rock, so it's not that.
I have.
Is this movie starring an actor named John Garfield?
No.
So it's not Force of Evil.
You're going to have to guess.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go with The Killers. Is this movie The Killers?
This movie has two people who have come painfully close to winning Golden Hour Film Podcast Awards.
Okay.
Lee J. Cobb and Jimmy Stewart.
Oh, damn. So it's
It is called Northside 777.
See, I wouldn't. That's not a film noir now. To be fair.
Is it not?
No, it's like a kind of.
Oh, because I made sure to read reviews on Letterboxd.
No, cool.
And
Yeah, maybe it's just me. Maybe I wouldn't. That it's like a
Yeah.
true story, and it's like a dramatization of this. Yeah, so maybe I'm just splitting hairs.
apologies.
No, you're fine.
Because a lot of the most liked reviews do drop the word noir in
that's
there,
fair
so I
enough,
took it that it was.
Look, it's
noir.
not. It's not like a million miles away either. I just wouldn't. It's probably not like a hard boiled noir. But yeah, look, it's fine. It's fine. I should have considered that at the same time. Yeah, so it's mine now. Okay. Yep, I have one. Get that focused. Yep. Okay.
Is this a film that I have seen?
Yes.
Is this a film that you have seen?
No.
Is this a film from the 20s and 30s?
It is not.
Is this a film from the 40s?
No.
Huh. Is this a foreign language film?
No.
Oh. I am nowhere near. Is this a film that I have watched in 2026?
No. At least
Right.
your review.
I've
Your review isn't from
Say it again?
2026 anyway.
right. Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think you've seen it since.
Fortunately, I have basically nothing to go off. The only thing that I could possibly have to go off is the fact that Shane had to check if it was from the 20s or 30s, which means that there is a tiny chance that this is the first time we've ever had a 1910s film on the podcast. But I've seen one feature film from the 1910s, which is Dante's Inferno, which is Italian. So I think that eliminates that whole decade. 50s and 60s, therefore, are my only real options. So I'm just going to have to shoot. Is it from the 50s?
Yes.
Okay. And I have to guess now, don't I?
You do, yeah.
I'm just going to go with it. 99 River Street.
This movie is directed by Edward Wood Jr. Plan 9. From
Plan
Outer
9
Space.
from Outer Space.
Yeah.
Cinema. Right. Still 9-8 to Shane. So,
Try and get one more round in.
yeah, let's go for it. Okay, I've got one here.
Perfect. Go.
Go for it.
Okay. Have I seen this movie?
You have.
Have you seen this movie?
I have not.
Okay. Is this a movie I've seen in 2026?
I don't think so.
No.
No. No. As a matter of fact, no.
No. Is this a movie from the 40s or 50s?
It is.
Is it a movie from the 40s?
It is not.
So it's a 50s movie. I know I've never seen it. Is this a movie from a director we've covered already on the podcast?
It is not.
Ooh, right, so that rules out a couple of movies I was thinking of actually, which is good. Killer's Kiss from Stanley Kubrick rules out that. Could be an Affair to Remember. That's, I think, Liam Carey. Is this a romantic movie?
No.
No, right, so it's not An Affair to Remember. I'll say, is this The Last Hurrah, directed by John Ford?
No. This is a film that you have referenced many times on the podcast
Okay.
that not many people have seen.
Why didn't I think... Oh, wait, no, it's not a Billy Wilder movie because, yeah.
Appointment with Danger.
Damn, I was going to ask if it's a noir, but I didn't think it would go there.
It is Shane's example for films with cool names that are actually not very good.
Yeah, it's not very good.
Yeah. If you were to go back through the Golden Era Film podcast for such an unknown film, Appointment with Danger gets name dropped quite a lot, I feel.
Because it's such a great title. I just didn't think it'd go for another noir. I literally should have asked the question. I would have gotten it otherwise. Damn. Right, okay. Okay, yep, I have them.
Cool.
Yep, there we go. Okay, go ahead.
Is this a film that you have seen?
Yes.
Is it a film that I have seen?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. Is this a film we've covered on the podcast?
Yes.
Oh. Is this a film we covered in 2025?
It is.
Did we cover it in the second half of 2025?
No.
Okay. Is it a foreign language film?
No. One question left.
Okay. One question left. So, non-foreign language film from the first half of 2025. So that is from, skipping Nosferatu, that is from City Lights up until like... One question left, you said?
One question left, yeah.
Oh, fuck it. I'll just make it a four-way shootout. Is it a film we covered? Is it a film we covered in February of 2025?
Yes.
Yeah, fuck it. I knew it. I knew it would be. Right. So here are the reasons why Shane would pick each one. Casablanca, because it's one of the greatest movies of all time. That'd be quite funny if you just picked Casablanca. Roman Holiday. William Wyler we covered recently on the podcast. Brief Encounter. David Lean we covered recently on the podcast. And then Ball of Fire. Howard Hawks we covered not that long ago on the podcast as well. So there is a reason, because Shane always has a reason for all of them. On the basis that we just covered it more recently, I'll go with the David Lean one. I'm going to say, is this Brief Encounter?
Damn it. It is.
Is it?
It is.
9-0. Get in.
Well done. Equalised.
Equalizer. So yeah, 9-all and guess the movie. Get voting on that Classic Film World Cup, guys. It is your opportunity to pick and choose what it is we cover on here. And yeah, we're going to have a lot of fun covering those films. It's safe to say. In the meantime, though, that was the episode of the Golden Era Film Podcast where we covered I Confess. Next week on the Golden Era Film Podcast, I do believe it is Dial M for Murder.
Yes,
which will be a class episode of the podcast. One of Hitchcock's best of the 50s,
yeah.
Which, as Shane said early in this arc, is one of the best decades any director's ever had. So yeah, next week, if you haven't seen it already, go get watching it. It's Dial M for Murder. In the meantime, though, I've been Harry Bailey,
I have been Shane White.
and we will see you all very soon. Goodbye.